Welcome. In the vast expanse of the sky where machines of metal defy gravity, safety remains paramount. 2024 witnessed its share of aviation accidents, each a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the constant need for vigilance in the pursuit of safer skies. We will delve into the details of each incident, examining the known facts and the ongoing investigations. The year began with a chilling reminder of the unforgiving nature of aviation accidents. On January 12, 2024, a Boeing 737-800, operating as Jeju Air Flight 7C 2216, approached Muan International Airport in South Korea. Carrying 181 souls, a mix of eager vacationers and seasoned travelers, the aircraft prepared for its final descent. The front landing gear, designed to smoothly transition the aircraft from air to ground, malfunctioned. The pilots, now battling a crippled aircraft, fought to maintain control. Despite their valiant efforts, the aircraft skidded off the runway, igniting a fire that rapidly engulfed the aircraft. Tragically, of the 181 passengers and crew aboard, only 2 individuals were pulled from the wreckage alive. The investigation into the cause of the crash is ongoing, with initial reports pointing to a catastrophic failure in the landing gear system. The lush rainforests of Brazil bore witness to tragedy on February 23, 2024. Vopas Flight 2283, an ATR-72 turboprop aircraft, was en route on a routine domestic flight when disaster struck. The aircraft, carrying 62 passengers and crew, encountered a perilous combination of factors. Mechanical issues, the specifics of which are still under investigation, arose as the aircraft navigated the skies above Vinhedo, Brazil. Adding to the perilous situation, a powerful storm system moved into the area, lashing the aircraft with heavy rain and strong winds. The ATR-72, overwhelmed by the combined forces of mechanical failure and the unforgiving storm, crashed in a remote forested area. There were no survivors. The investigation into the crash of Vopas Flight 2283 continues, with authorities focusing on the interplay between the reported mechanical issues and the severe weather conditions at the time of the accident. The skies above Kazakhstan became a scene of terror on March 17, 2024, as Azerbaijan Airlines Flight J28243, an Embraer E190, issued a chilling distress call. Carrying 67 passengers and crew, the flight was on approach to Aktau Airport when technical difficulties plagued the aircraft. The pilots, faced with a failing aircraft, desperately tried to regain control. Adding to their struggle, the weather in the region deteriorated rapidly. Tragically, on its final attempt, the Embraer E190 crashed in a field near the airport, claiming the lives of 38 souls. The remaining 29 passengers and crew, many seriously injured, were rushed to local hospitals. An investigation is underway to determine the exact cause of the crash, with authorities focusing on the reported mechanical failure and the possibility of external factors, such as military operations in the area. Chapter 4. Saurya Airlines Flight 053, a fiery departure from Kathmandu. The Himalayas bore witness to tragedy on April 5, 2024. Saurya Airlines Flight 053, a CRJ-200, was departing Kathmandu for Pokhara. On board were 19 souls, local Nepalese and foreign tourists. As the CRJ-200 began its takeoff roll, disaster struck. A catastrophic mechanical failure crippled the aircraft. The CRJ-200 crashed, claiming 18 lives. Miraculously, 1 individual survived. The investigation into the crash is ongoing. Chapter 5. Malawi in mourning, a nation loses its leader. The African nation of Malawi was plunged into mourning on May 10, 2024, as a military aircraft carrying Vice President Saulos Klaus Chilima and 9 other individuals crashed en route from Lilongwe, the nation's capital, to Mzuzu. The aircraft, its make and model not immediately released by authorities, was carrying a delegation of high-ranking government officials and members of the vice president's staff. The flight, intended to be a routine domestic journey, ended in tragedy. The aircraft went down in a remote, heavily forested area. The impact, described as unsurvivable by first responders, claimed the lives of all 10 individuals on board. As the nation mourned the loss of its leader, investigators combed through the wreckage, searching for clues to the cause of the crash. Chapter 6. Silence in the Skies. Thai Flying Service Flight 209. On June 15, 2024, Thai Flying Service Flight 209, a Cessna Caravan, vanished from radar. The chartered flight was heading to a remote island popular with tourists. Disaster struck over the Gulf of Thailand, 100 kilometers southeast of Bangkok. Contact was lost abruptly. A frantic search ensued. Debris confirmed the worst fears. All 9 on board perished. The investigation focuses on the black box to uncover the final moments. Chapter 7. Iran in shock, presidential helicopter downed. The world watched in astonishment on July 2, 2024, as news broke of a helicopter crash in Iran that claimed the life of the nation's president, Ibrahim Raisi. The aircraft, a US-made Bell 212 helicopter, was carrying President Raisi, 6 other passengers and 2 crew members when it crashed in mountainous terrain near the Iran-Azerbaijan border. The helicopter was en route to a ceremony marking the inauguration of a new hydroelectric power plant. The investigation is ongoing, with authorities focusing on retrieving the helicopter's flight data recorder and examining the wreckage for any signs of mechanical failure or external factors that may have contributed to the crash. Chapter 8. Northwestern Air Flight 738. Tragedy in the Canadian Wilderness. The vast and unforgiving wilderness of Canada's Northwest Territories became the scene of tragedy on August 8, 2024, as Northwestern Air Flight 738, carrying workers from the Rio Tinto Mining Company, crashed near Fort Smith. The aircraft, its make and model not immediately released by authorities, was on a routine flight transporting workers to a remote mining site when it went down in a densely forested area. Rescue crews facing challenging terrain and harsh weather conditions reached the crash site to find the wreckage engulfed in flames. Tragically, there were no survivors. All 6 individuals on board, the pilot, co-pilot, and 4 passengers, perished in the crash. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada has dispatched a team of investigators to the crash site to determine the cause of the accident. Chapter 9. Near miss becomes disaster collision at Haneda Airport. A routine day at one of the world's busiest airports turned into a scene of chaos and confusion on September 12, 2024, as a Japan Airlines Airbus A350-941 collided with a smaller Coast Guard aircraft on the runway at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. The Japan Airlines aircraft, carrying hundreds of passengers, was preparing for takeoff when the smaller Coast Guard aircraft, carrying out a routine patrol, strayed onto the active runway. The collision, while not a direct impact, resulted in significant damage to both aircraft. The Coast Guard aircraft, a twin-engine turboprop, sustained the brunt of the damage, losing a portion of its wing and tail section. Tragically, 5 of the 6 crew members aboard the Coast Guard aircraft perished in the collision. The lone survivor, severely injured, was rushed to a local hospital. The investigation into the cause of the collision is ongoing, with authorities focusing on air traffic control procedures and potential communication errors that may have led to the disaster. Chapter 10. Invisible Threat. Turbulence claims a life on Singapore Airlines Flight 321. The skies above the Pacific Ocean turned treacherous on October 20, 2024, as Singapore Airlines Flight 321, en route from Singapore to Los Angeles, encountered severe turbulence. The Airbus A380, carrying hundreds of passengers, was cruising at altitude when the aircraft encountered a patch of clear air turbulence, a dangerous and unpredictable phenomenon that can occur without warning. Passengers on board described the turbulence as the most severe they had ever experienced, with the aircraft violently shaking and dropping altitude rapidly. While the pilots were able to regain control of the aircraft and make an emergency landing at nearby Honolulu International Airport, the turbulence had already claimed 1 life. a passenger suffered a fatal heart attack during the ordeal. The investigation into the incident is ongoing, with authorities focusing on the weather patterns at the time of the turbulence and the aircraft's flight data recorder to better understand the factors that led to the severe turbulence encounter. Outro reflecting on 2024, a call for continued vigilance. As we reflect on the aviation accidents of 2024, we are reminded of the ever-present challenges in maintaining the highest levels of safety in the skies. These incidents serve as a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of the tireless work carried out by aviation professionals around the world who strive to make air travel as safe as possible. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay informed.